Now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And we put all this together into one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one framework, one university that you can now enroll in. That is all called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic, the 3-step process to get from the bench to in the goddamn game. Now, this is the process that everyone must go through to get from nothing to something when you're trying to build a success in anything that you do in life. This could be for any human being. All right, do not have to have ever heard of Dre Baldwin or Work on Your Game, and they don't even have to have a smartphone. Anyone who goes from nothing to something, creating a success, they have to go through this 3-step process. Now, what we've done here at Work on Your Game, and specifically in Work on Your Game University, we have codified this process. So I'm going to give you an overview of what this process is here today. I'm going to tell you what the framework is. And in Work on Your Game University, if you hear this and you say, you know what, that's the framework that I need to get from where I'm at to where I'm going, what you need to do next is join us in Work on Your Game University. We'll get into all that. Let's first of all just talk about what we're talking about here a little bit more. This is the process that we use as soon as you get started in our university. We're going to explain to you this entire process, but I'm going to give you the overview of what it is here today. Any of you who has created success in anything, listen to what I'm saying here today, and if I missed a step, if I left something out, or if I add something in that was not required for you to create success, you can let me know. And any of you who is in the process of creating a success, or you want to at least get in the process of creating success in anything that you're doing in life, listen to what I'm saying to you here today, and you need to identify which of these steps you are at right now. Are you at there's only 3 steps. You're either at step 1, step 2, or step 3, and you can let me know. Reach out to me via email. My email is dre@dreallday.com, or you can hit me on any of the social media platforms. Let me know which one of these steps in the process are you in, and where are you having trouble? Where are you getting stuck? Where are you, not exactly hitting the right spot, or you've been on the same step for months or years, and you're wondering why it's taking so long. I can help you with that, and we can get it fixed, and we can get you to the next step so we can get you the ROI that you want. All that being said, let's get into it. The topic, once again, the 3-step process from the bench to the goddamn game. Number 1, you must develop your game. Developing your game. All right, this is working on your game. This is something that we talk about in everything that I ever put out, whether it's a book, a video, a masterclass episode, a tweet, an Instagram post, anything that I say. If you meet me in person, you ask me something and I give you an answer, all of it is probably going to go under a majority of the stuff that I talk about. A lot of the things I talk about is about developing your game. And actually, all 3 of these steps, there's some development that's going to be going on. But the first step of developing your game means asking yourself the following questions, or just answering these questions, whether you consciously ask them or not. What skills do you need, and which ones do you currently lack? If you want to be a baseball player, what skills do you need? If you want to be a pitcher, you probably need to learn how to throw. You need to master at least one pitch, I would think. Then you need to be able to throw a couple other ones so that the batters can't time you. And again, I'm not an expert at baseball. I think any of you know my story. No, I'm not an expert at baseball. I tried, but I failed. But that's why I walked away from baseball. Walked away in strength. But what skills do you need? I wanted to be a basketball player. The skill that I needed was I need to have some differentiating skill that would separate me from all the other 300 players in the gym. When I went to a meat market of a professional basketball exposure camp, I wanted to stand out. What can I do that's going to make the people in attendance, the decision makers in attendance, what's going to make them remember me over everybody else that's out here? I needed an answer to that question. So developing your game is you asking yourself, what skills do I need and which ones do I currently lack? And then, how do I develop those skills in a timely fashion so that I still have time left over to use these skills? This is a key question. Let me ask that question one more time. I want to make sure you weren't daydreaming when I said it. How do I develop these skills while being respectful of my time? I still will have time left over to use these skills. For example, any athletes out there, me coming from the professional basketball world, I hear from these players all the time. We want to play professional basketball. You can get my book, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint, for free at balloverseas.com, by the way, any of you who want to be professional basketball players. But players will come to me and say, well, Dre, look, I'm 25. Is that old for being a pro basketball player? Because I haven't played yet. Or a player will say I'm 28. Or a player says I'm 33, just getting out of the military. Or I'm 18 and I haven't played in college. And I just finished high school and I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, you don't have forever. All right, there's a shelf life when it comes to something like professional sports. There's a very short window, a very short shelf life. But for everybody else too, even if you're not an athlete, or maybe you were but you're looking to do something else, you don't have forever to execute on doing the thing that you want to do, because we are all on the clock every single day. Nobody knows how much time you have left in that hourglass, at least in the top half of that hourglass. The bottom half, we call that our age, but the top half, nobody knows how much time we have left. So you want to get things done now, right? You want to have a little bit of at least a little bit, hopefully a lot, of sense of urgency about getting to what you want to get to in life. So how can you develop the skills that you lack, whatever abilities you don't have right now, while you still have some time left over to use them? And the thing about this step of of development is that you got to be honest with yourself about what you lack. And this is something that many people struggle with. Many people struggle in just keeping it real with themselves. Like, you know what? I'm just not good at this part right here. I need to get better at this. And this is something I talked about a couple days ago on the show, is that a lot of times when I hear from males, especially the athletes, because we have this testosterone, because we have this internal drive, a lot of male athletes don't want to admit that they're deficient in certain skills. They think the reason that they're coming up short is because some externality that they don't control is causing the problem. No, usually it's just you ain't that good. You just can't play. You just can't perform. And this is not limited to sports. Some of you might be trying to write, but your writing sucks. No wonder nobody's reading it. All right, maybe you're wondering why nobody's opening your emails because your subject lines are terrible. You're terrible at copywriting. Or you're trying to do comedy, nobody's laughing at your jokes because jokes aren't funny. Or you just need to get better. You just need to develop your skills. Whatever is going wrong, you need to ask yourself, where am I lacking in ability that is causing this issue, that is causing this deficiency? Where am I deficient? Maybe you need to go talk to a mentor. Maybe you need to talk to a trusted friend if you have one. Maybe you need to hire a coach, someone who can take a look at what you're doing and let you know, look, you need to fix this, and these other 7 things right here, because all of these, they're either trash or they're mediocre, or somewhere in between the two, between mediocre and trash. You need to fix these so they can get better. That will change everything. You got the right idea, your execution sucks. This is the work part, ladies and gentlemen. This is work. The things that I share on this show every day are not merely for your listening pleasure. All right, these are things that need to be applied and used tangibly. This is the huge difference between education and entertainment. Entertainment is something to be absorbed passively. I can go watch I went to a comedy show actually a couple days ago from when I'm recording this, and there was nothing I needed to do from going to the comedy show. I listened to the jokes. Some of them were funny, some of them were not. And when it was over, I talked to people. Hey, I like this joke. This guy was funny. This person wasn't really that funny. I like that joke right there. I always remember that one right there. And then when it was over, it was just over. There was nothing that I needed to do with anything that I gleaned from that comedy show. Maybe I might have took some insights and maybe write an article about it or something like that. But taking in entertainment is passive, ladies and gentlemen. You take it in, you absorb, it takes up that time and your attention, and then it's over, it's over. When you take in any type of development material, personal development, professional development, any form of education, is giving you something that now is ostensibly supposed to be making you smarter, making you a more valuable individual. That's what I call personal development, anything that makes you more valuable as a person. Now, the only thing that really makes you more valuable is not having the information that you heard, but is actually doing something with it. So everything that I talk about here on this show, all damn near 2,000 episodes of this masterclass, I'm giving you something that you need to do something with it. Don't just take it in and say, all right, well, that was cool. That was a motivational, inspirational show that you did, Dre. That one hit different. That was great. That gave me a good pick me up. I'm glad you talked about that. That was really good, useful information. Let me share this with somebody. I appreciate all of that feedback, and I appreciate you sharing it and letting your friends know about it. But understand, the whole point of me giving you this is not just so you can listen to it and say that it was cool. The point of me giving it to you is that you can do something with it, and you actually start producing results with it. That's how we get tangible change. You don't get tangible change just from consuming things. You get tangible change from using the things that you consume. Everything that I've used to create success, to make something happen in my life, whether it was in the sports realm, whether it was in the business realm, or anywhere in between, I've shared it in some form on this show. That's what I do. I take the things that I've done, the things that I've learned, the things that I've gleaned, things that I have consumed and used, and then I give them to you in the work on your game way, the work on your game philosophy way. What most people need, though, in life right now is not really more information. Most people don't need more plans. So what you need is not necessarily to listen to me saying these things that I'm saying to you on a day-to-day basis. What you really need is help in applying these things so that you actually develop some game. So I could tell you, all right, to develop your game in writing or develop your game in podcasting and develop your game in mental toughness or in confidence, here are the things you need to do, this, and this, but you might not actually do it. I mean, you heard it and it sounds good, but are you actually applying it? That's why we have Work on Your Game University, so you can actually start applying these things and putting them into a real strategy so that you have a plan for application and then you get some results from the application. You can learn about all that at workonyourgameuniversity.com, but we'll talk about that more as we get further into this episode. Let's move on to point number 2. The topic, once again, is a 3-step process to go from the bench to getting in the damn game. The second step, showing your game. Now, this step is probably the meatiest part of it, and the reason why I call this the meatiest part of it is because there's actually 2 parts to showing your game. The first one is creating the opportunity to show your game, and the second one is you actually showing it. Creating the opportunity is part of the show. Example, I just told you I went to a comedy show a couple days ago. Each one of those comedians had to do something. I don't know what. I don't know anything about the comedy world, but they had to do something to get to the position where whoever was hosting that comedy show, whoever was running it, knew to ask them to come and perform at the show. It wasn't an open mic comedy show where, like, it's not like I could have just stood up and say, hey, I want to do 5 minutes of comedy. It wasn't like that. The comedians were all listed on the bill. Like, all right, here are the 7 comedians that are going to perform tonight. Somehow, some way, they had to maneuver their way to even be asked to come and do that show. Even if they didn't get paid. Who knows they even got paid for doing the show. Just the fact that they got asked to show up, they had to do something to get there. All right, so this is all part of showing your game, is creating the opportunity to even be seen in the first place. And this is something that I stress to athletes all the time, especially in the sports world, because especially when we're talking about team sports, everybody can't play. Everybody's not going to make the basketball team. Everybody can't be on the football team. Everybody cannot get on simply because there's a limited number of spaces. And any of you who's not in the sports world, whatever industry that you're in or whatever company that you work for, everybody can't work there. They don't just hire everybody who's qualified. In most places, it's not like that. Right? They have to have a selection process where some people are going to get filtered out. So showing your game, part of showing your game is showing enough that people are even intrigued enough or interested enough to, let's take a deeper look at this individual. Let's see what they bring to the table. Maybe there's somebody that we might want to hire. Maybe there's somebody that we might want to bring in and keep them around. All right, this is all part of showing your game. All right, 2-part process. Create the opportunity, then maximize the opportunity. The challenge that many people have in showing their game, and this is usually where people get stuck, because in the first step is developing your game. Not often, and I talked about this a couple of days ago, and I was talking about athletes, but not often do I hear from somebody who says, you know what, Dre, I just need to get better at doing this thing. Can you help me get better at doing this thing? I don't often have people ask me to help them get better at doing things. What I usually have people tell me is that I just need people to notice me. I need people to see me. I need to get better at, getting in front of people and getting the opportunities and getting seen, which is all good. Maybe I'm just only attracting people who have so much game and they just need to be seen. Maybe that's the situation. All right, maybe it is, maybe it ain't. Once I get to take a look at what people are doing, then I can see, all right, this person really needs some help in development here, and I'll help them out. But this challenge of showing your game, this is where usually I hear from people. This is somebody gets stuck at this point, and this is when I start hearing from them. And they say, well, look, you know what? I'm having a challenge kind of getting seen. I'm having a challenge getting the opportunity. I'm having a challenge drawing the attention. I'm having a challenge getting anyone to, recognize my performance. Now, sometimes it's because they suck at selling themselves. They suck at the performance. Maybe their performance is not intriguing enough. Maybe they're performing the wrong things for the wrong people, or the wrong thing for the right people, or the right thing for the wrong people. And sometimes it's just a lack of development. They're getting in the right places and they're showing it to the right people, but they're not developed enough to create a sale. So it could be any one of these things could be the issue, but we have processes and frameworks to help you with all of this stuff inside of Work on Your Game University. I want you to remember something. Creating the opportunity, maximizing the opportunity, these are the 2 things you're doing in step 2, showing your game. In life, the question is not whether you can shoot. The question is, can you get your shot? This is something that we covered in episode number 875. The question is not whether or not you have game or that you can develop game. If you listen to this show, you can develop game. The question is, can you get anybody to recognize your game, and can you create an ROI from that game? That's the question. And the answer for many people, unfortunately, is not that they can't, it's just that they don't. Why? Because they don't have the mechanism, they don't have the systems, they don't have the processes or strategies in place to do so. So they fail at it. There are a lot of people, actually most of the people who come my way, who believe they have game. All right, you listen to me right now, you believe you have game in something. But very few people ever admit that they need work, as I just said. Those who say they have game say, I just haven't gotten my shot yet. Well, I want you to understand something. Getting your shot is part of your job. Making sure that people see you and know that you have game and recognize your abilities and you allow you to get on that stage to show what you can do, that is part of your job. And if you are failing at doing that, or you're not doing it enough, or you feel like you're not being seen enough, that means you have more work to do. And understand, you are on the clock. You don't have forever to figure it out. It is not a birthright for you to be recognized. So you have to earn and create those opportunities. Another aspect of showing your game is that whatever you show must be a fit for the people that you are choosing to show it to. Your offer must fit the needs of your audience. This is all part of your work. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is how to get off the bench and get into the game in life, the 3-step process. The third thing you do is get the ROI for your game, the return on investment. Now, this is the fun part. Getting what you deserve for your ability and for your work. But understand that this is not always easy, getting that ROI. It's fun to get the ROI, but it's not always easy to get to the ROI because maybe people don't see it the same way that you see it. See, you believe in the value of your game. I hope you do. If you worked on it, you should believe in the value of your game, but maybe you got a challenge with that. That's why we have frameworks where we talk about discipline and confidence and mental toughness. So you have the mental framework in place, who you're being as a person, so that when you step out into the world, who you're being emanates from you and other people pick up on that and they believe in you the same way you believe in yourself. But if you don't believe in yourself, of course, nobody else is going to. So first of all, hopefully you believe in your game, but if you don't worry. We got a course called ASAP Confidence. We got one called Bulletproof Mindset. We will help you with these things to make sure that your confidence and your mentality, your being, is in the right place. So assuming that we've taken care of that part in the development stage, you believe in your game, it doesn't really matter. Yes, you heard me. After all that I just said about you believing in yourself and your game, it doesn't really matter that you believe in your game. It does, but it doesn't. The question you need to answer is, who else believes in the value of your game and who else is willing to pay for the value of your game in order to prove that they actually believe in it? Because I could tell you I believe in your game. I could tell you I think you're great, but am I willing to pay for whatever you're offering? Those are two different questions. People will all the time tell me that they love something that I said. It was really valuable. It was really motivational. It was really inspirational. I'm like, all right, did you buy something? All right, because that's when somebody really proves that they believe in the value of it. All right, value is exchanged for value, folks. So the question you got to ask yourself in this third step of getting in the game, and we're talking here, this is where we talk the business benefits of whatever it is that you're doing. Right? What are you willing to exchange, or what are you able, rather, to exchange for the value that you're creating? And to whom are you making that exchange? With whom are you making that exchange? Another question that we got to ask here. We can't ignore this question. Are you willing to ask for what you want? And can you get it? 2 questions there. If you believe that this value that you created is worth $15, are you willing to ask for $15? And can you get anyone to agree and give you the $15? And are they happy after they get whatever you gave them for $15, whatever you sold to them? Is your offer worthy of what you're asking for? This is a question you must answer first, and then you got to get your consumers to answer it. Your consumers will provide the ultimate answer. But this is all part of the ROI stage, getting into the game. And until you're generating the ROI consistently, you are not really in the game. I mean, you're playing the game, but you're not really in the game. You get what I'm saying? Point number 4, rather. Today's topic, once again, is the 3-step process to going from the bench to being in the game. And yes, I'm giving you point 4 when I told you it's a 3-step process. Here's point 4 to glue all of this together. All 3 parts are necessary in order to complete this picture. For you to really be in the game, you got to do all 3. You must develop the game, develop the skill, whatever it happens to be. You must create the opportunity and perform so that people know that you have it and they know that there's value there. And then you got to get the ROI. In other words, you must create the exchange between what you're offering and what other people are willing to give in order to get it. And they got to be satisfied, because that's the only way you're going to be able to do it over and over and over again, either with the same people or with future people, because now you have social proof that you can deliver of the people that you sold to in the past. They got it and they say it's great. Now somebody else is going to do it. Those are your referrals, your testimonials. The problem is most people stall at one of these points, developing, showing, ROI. And then when they stall, here are the things that really cause the issue. They either, A, keep trying things that don't work, and they end up running out of time or energy. B, they quit because they never bothered to go and get some better information and better strategies and processes with someone who understood what the problem was and what to do, as opposed to going off their own ignorance, which obviously is what got them stuck in the first place. Or C, they complain that the game is working against them. They complain they're just not getting the opportunities because they believe they've done everything necessary to deserve it. Listen, you don't deserve anything until you actually have it. When you actually have it, that's when you deserve it. So these are the three things that cause people to get stuck. None of the above is a result-producing solution. So to keep trying what doesn't work, to quit or to complain, none of those is going to produce a result. And understand that we are in a results-based business, people. The solution, the actual solution, is to take a step back, look at the three parts that I just laid out, and ask yourself where you might be messing up. Or ask someone else. Here's a shortcut. Ask someone else who can easily diagnose what your issue is. Where am I messing up, and where do I need to apply? Where do I need to put some oil on the squeaky wheel so I can get this thing fixed? Because again, you are on the clock. Remember that time is of the essence. Take a step back, figure out where you're messing up, and then apply the oil to that part that's messed up. And then you gotta know which oil to apply, why to apply that oil, and then what it's supposed to look like when you do it. These are all questions that you don't have answers to. Now, again, you can figure this out through trial and error, but the challenge with that is you might run out of time. I'm just telling you. I'm not telling you got to get it from anybody or anyone or anything, but understand you might run out of time trying to figure it out on your own. You have a choice as to what you want to do. How many people are willing to do all that? Everything I just laid out. And this is why I say every so often here on this show, I don't say it every episode, but it's true every episode, this ain't for everybody. This is not for everybody. Some people just want to be consumers. Some people want to be passive. Some people want to get to a certain space and they're good there and they just want to stay there. Some people get to a certain level and things are not working and they'll just keep doing the same thing, or they'll quit or they'll complain, and that's just where they want to be, and that's fine. I'm not knocking those people. We're not hating those people. We're not going to unfriend them on Facebook. We're not going to do a long diatribe trashing them. We're just going to say this ain't for everybody. So I want y'all to understand that I'm not looking for everybody. I'm looking for the people who are willing to go through this process because you believe whatever it is you need to put out into the world is worth more than the time, effort, attention, energy, and focus you're going to have to give to make it work. Question is, who are those people? Let's recap today's class, which is a 3-step process to get from the bench to getting in the game. This is a process everybody goes through to get from nothing to something and building any success in any area of life. Is also the process that we teach and work on your game university. Point number 1, developing your game. What skills do you need? Which ones do you lack? Where are your deficiencies? You must understand that taking in knowledge or having information, reading a book, listening to a podcast, these are all great, but understand that the whole purpose of development is for you to apply and use what you learn tangibly, not just to take it in passively. Point number 2, show your game. This is a 2-part process. First, you got to create opportunity. Then you must maximize that opportunity by showing your game to the right people in the right way to get them to believe that what you have is worth whatever you're asking for. In life, it is not about whether or not you can shoot. It is about whether or not you can get your shot. I talked about this in episode number 875. A lot of people out there believe they have game, but very few admit that they need work. The problem is getting your shot is part of the work. If you're not able to get your shot, that means you need work on getting your shot. You need to learn how to do that. Selling yourself and putting yourself out there are skills that must be developed. They are not things that just happen. I got a course called Sell Yourself, and guess where it is? It's in Work on Your Game University. Number 3, get the ROI for your game. Get the return on investment. This is the fun part. Getting what you deserve for your ability and your work, but this is not always an easy part. This is a selling thing. I got a book called The Seller's Mindset, which you can get at workonmygame.com/sell, SELL. You believe in the value of your game, but it doesn't matter what you think if you can't get anyone else to think the exact same thing. Sales is a transfer of emotion. Emotion is about your being. That's why we give you the mirror of motivation at mirrormotivation.com. You see how all this stuff connects? I didn't plan this. This is just how it works out. And point number 4, all 3 parts are needed to complete this picture. The problem is many people stall at one of these points, which is fine. The problem is they either A, keep trying what doesn't work, B, they quit, or C, they complain that the game isn't working for them. None of these is a result-producing answer, and we are in a results-based business. So if you're not going after results in a results-based business, you will soon be out of business and on your ass. How many people are willing to do that? Who is serious about taking their game from where it is to where you want to get it to? The 3 steps: develop your game, show your game, get paid for your game. We cover all of that here in Work on Your Game University. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Choose your level, choose your mission, get in there, and let's get to work. Work on your game. Dre all day.